I'm overcoming obstacles every day, and many of my obstacles probably come from within. Being my own worst critic, trying to make sure that I fight against those thoughts that come up when I'm thinking through, a plan of action for a client, or just thinking through the next steps of anything, personal or professional. So, in terms of a physical manifestation of an obstacle, and it, turned into a blessing for me and for Myron. I became pregnant at 19 when I was in college. And it was, not something that I planned for. It was definitely something that my family, my mom especially, she took it hard. I was away at college, and Myron had accepted an internship in Atlanta, Georgia. And I said, well, I'm going too. So we spent the summer in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where my daughter Nia, that's where she was conceived. And so then, it hits you hard, that reality of, well, wait a minute, I've got so many things I want to do. How am I going to get done with school? How am I going to pursue my career with a baby?
With another episode of So What Success Stories. And today I have the privilege and the pleasure of interviewing my friend, my line sister, my soror, and an amazing woman, Stephanie Jackson. So I got to look at my notes real quick. She has some really huge titles. So first of all, she is the Director of Public and Media Relations for her family own business, the Design Group, which she'll tell us a little bit more about that. She owns that company with her awesome and amazing husband, who is the So What Success Story himself. But she is also the Communications Director for the Office of the Mayor for the city of Little Rock, Arkansas. And this is my girl, Stephanie. Stephanie is an amazing person who I have known since 1998, so probably even 97. Yeah, maybe probably 97. Yeah, we started knowing each other in 97. But we have grown together and been through a lot of things together. And she has blown me away with what she has done with her life, personally and professionally. And she's just an amazing woman. I'm super, super, super excited to be talking to her and for her to share a little bit of her story. So Stephanie, give us a little bit of introduction about who you are, where you're from.
Well, thank you so much, my dear friend, Summer. I love you. And thank you so much for this opportunity to come and share with your viewers, I guess, about my story. I don't know if it's a success story just yet, but happy to be here and share. And I applaud you for your efforts in continuing to bring positive stories to our communities and beyond. Enough cannot be said about the work that you are doing. And so you're doing fabulous. So keep it up.
Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, where do I start? I'm a wife, I'm a mom. My daughter just graduated college. Believe it or not, she just finished summa cum laude at Spelman College in Atlanta, Georgia. And so
shout out to Nia.
Just so happy and elated that this part of her journey is complete, but it was fun. She finished during the pandemic, so that had its challenges for her and for us. But yeah, so have a daughter, Nia, have a stepson, Alex. And then, yes, my husband and I, we I guess, run together. He runs a lot more than I run the company, the Design Group, which is Arkansas's only multicultural full service communications firm. And so what that means is we specialize in all facets of marketing, and we speak to the total market. So general market, which is typically considered your white consumers, and then your ethnic market, which can make up so many different publics, from racial identity to sexual identity, by life stage. And so we like to say, when we couple our general marketing messaging with our ethnic or minority market messaging, we have the total market. And so we are the state's only agency that specializes in the total market messaging. And we do marketing services that include advertising, public relations, strategic communications planning, experiential marketing, and also media buying. And so we are thrilled to have been in existence since 2007, right around the time of the Great Recession, if you will. And so now we can say proudly, we've weathered a recession, we've weathered a pandemic. We don't know what's coming next, but prayerfully we will manage and weather that as well. So
yes, you definitely will, because you have been through some things, and you know, and even recently, I know you and Myron both have overcome some major challenges. So maybe you'll share a little bit about that. But I am super honored, super proud, because I knew you when all the way back in 1997. I even had the honor and the privilege of getting to know Myron when we were in college, and so it's just been beautiful to me. As an entrepreneur myself, especially to see you guys have started that, or him to start that when he did, and to see where it is today, and the impact that you're making. So kudos.
Thank you.
So let's get into it. So in this program, I have what I call the So What Success System. Okay. And the So What Success System is combining learning how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices. When you're able to do that, and I think anybody is able to do that, when they're able to do that, they have what I call So What Success. And that is success in spite of any challenges that you might face. So Stephanie, share with us a few obstacles that you've overcome, and just how you've overcome those obstacles.
You know, I'm overcoming obstacles every day, and many of my obstacles probably come from within. Being my own worst critic, you know, trying to make sure that I fight against those thoughts that come up when I'm thinking through, you know, a plan of action for a client, or you know, just thinking through the next steps of anything, personal or professional. So, you know, in terms of a physical manifestation of an obstacle, and it, you know, turned into a blessing for me and for Myron. I became pregnant at 19 when I was in college, and it was, you know, not something that I planned for. It was definitely something that my family, my mom especially, you know, she took it hard. I was away at college, and Myron had accepted an internship in Atlanta, Georgia. And I said, well, I'm going too. So we spent the summer in Atlanta, Georgia. That's where my daughter Nia, that's where she was conceived. And so then, you know, it hits you hard, that reality of, well, wait a minute, I've got so many things I want to do. How am I going to get done with school? How am I going to pursue my career with a baby? You know, it was just something that you just did not do. You got married first before you had a baby. I had examples of that all around me. My brothers, my sisters, everyone had followed that path. And so for me, to become a young mother out of wedlock, I felt like a black sheep. I don't think my family caused me to feel that way, but again, it was something that I, you know, being a part of society, seeing what the societal norms are, for me, it was something that I thought, well, good grief, Stephanie, you know, you really stepped in at this time. What are you going to do? Having the village that I did have, having the now husband that I have, it was something that we faced together. My mom was there every step of the way. I don't think I could have raised Nia in those early years without her constant love, care, and support. And so I was able to finish college. I was able to enter the workforce in my chosen profession, which at the time I'd earned a degree in journalism. And so I went immediately after college to work at a local television station. So I'm blessed beyond measure. And I say all of those things to say, if you have your plan, even if you deviate slightly from it, if you can come back to a place where you can focus and hone in on what your goals are, you can overcome it. Not alone, because we don't do anything in this world alone. Recognizing that you need love, you need support, and being able to have those things, they all just came together to help me get to where I wanted to be.
I think that's powerful, Stephanie. Cool. Yeah, no. And I still remember all that. I remember when we found out that you were pregnant, and we were like, wait, but we've been having step practice, and
just carrying on like normal.
Yeah, and I remember that, and of course at that time I already had a child. Mm-hmm. And so I knew the challenges that were ahead of you, but I also knew the determination that you had and the strength that you had. And also I knew that I felt that you were going to be just fine, and you were. But to do that,
it's hard going through it, girl.
It is. It's really hard, and it's not. It's hard for a long time.
It is a very long time.
Yeah, and then we all have different levels of help and different levels of support. But I think you spoke to it too. Is recognizing, number one, that you do need help, and then accepting the help when it comes, and putting yourself in a position that people want to help you. But I also think a lot of that is internal, like you just said before about some of your obstacles being internal, but also it's internal for you to have the drive and the to want to overcome and to know that you can overcome. And that also comes with learning how to get rid of excuses. So the next component of the SOA success system is eliminating excuses. Talk about some of the excuses you said I can't make, or maybe you did make them, but how you're like, okay, I got to get rid of these if I want to be successful.
Yeah, I made a lot of excuses, pity parties, and I know how to throw a pity party. If anybody wants to learn, come talk to me. I can help you figure it out, okay? You can have a balloon arch ready for your Instagram backdrop.
I cannot see that of you, Stephanie. I can't see it.
Oh yes. I definitely have made so many excuses. I think for me, growing up I was not an only child, but I had that experience because my brothers and sisters were so much older than I am. And so, I spent a lot of time dealing with, talking to myself, if you will, and just internalizing things because I am an introvert. And so,
okay. What?
I am. I love you, but I just don't love other people. I love my friends, my close friends, but yeah, I'm not a people person. Believe it or not, Summer, I know that may be so hard to fathom.
Well, you do a good job of doing your job in spite of yourself.
Yeah. But so when you think about, excuses, I'll just go back to, when I had Nia, I said, okay, I really want to finish school. I'd even come back to University of Memphis for a semester or two. I think I was starting my second semester after she had been born, and I was trying to, make it work. And it was not working for me. I was away from my daughter because she was here in Little Rock with my mother. Myron was here as well. So I just felt disconnected from them. And I thought, well, good grief, if I go back home, I'm a failure. You know, what,
I remember all those
how am I
same
gonna,
thoughts.
yeah, right. How am I gonna make this work? You know, I remember even telling someone before I went away to college after I graduated high school, you know, I was like, I'm leaving and I am not coming back. I don't look for me. You will not find me. Of course, this is before Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all of the things that we have now to keep up with our friends and family near and far. But, you know, this was just something I knew I was not coming back. So when I came back, I really felt down and I felt like I had failed at what I had told myself that I was going to do. And so, you know, I thought, good grief, well, since you know, maybe I need to just figure out a way to start working early. Maybe I'm not going to finish school. Maybe, you know, you just have all of these thoughts. But I said, well, no, I've got a great mother. I've got a great boyfriend, still boyfriend at the time. You know, I've got to figure out a way to get out of this slump. And so I'm a Christian, and so I always rely on my Christian background and to help me when times are good or times are bad. And so this is definitely one of those low points for me mentally. You know, just trying to make when you think about making excuses, you know, thinking, well, how can I work around this? Well, you know, I really can't do this anymore. Well, I can't do this anymore. Well, you know, I'm limited now because I've got this baby. Well, how am I going to do this? You know, Stephanie, you know, you've just screwed up royally. What are you going to, you can't do this. You can't do that. But that's not so, because nothing is impossible with God. And so thankfully I was able to complete my 4-year degree and get a job. And, you know, I was probably making below minimum wage in that that first job out of college, but I was excited to have it. I was in a newsroom and it was exciting. And I said, you know what, we did it. You know, it wasn't just a me did it. It was or an I did it. It was we, my family and I, we did it together. So yeah, you just have to, you have to honestly point back to whether you're a Christian or not, what are those positive affirmations? What can you tell yourself to keep pushing? Because just like if you're in the gym, your body's gonna do what your mind tells it to do. And so you've got to fix your mind. You've got to, you know, renew your mind so you understand where you're going. And no matter what, you've got to put your blinders on and just go for it. There's just no other way you can do it, because the obstacles are going to come every day. There's going to be something new thrown at you.
And even once you've reached the level where you're at right now, the obstacles will still come. And you still have to continue to follow that cycle of fixing your mind to get past the excuses to say, okay, is this something that I want? Do I want to make it happen? Don't worry about what the problem is or what I don't have or the extra stuff. I always say, I always had something people didn't have, which was a child. Most people I knew around our age didn't have a child.
Right.
Attest to that. And I was like, so I got this extra stuff that makes it even harder, but I'm like, you can still do it. Stephanie, you've done a good job. When you talked about starting your job minimum wage, I'm like, yeah, I work for the Memphis Grizzlies. And similar to you, I work way too much. Yep. I say too much, that's a real term. I worked a lot. Let's just put it that way. Yeah. And I made a little. Made a little. But I was so grateful. And you said we made it. And that's the exact same way that I felt too. It was, I looked at my child. And I didn't have as much support as I would have liked. But I looked at my child and I'm like, we did it. We made it. We made it. And it's only up from here. And so, Stephanie, you have done a great job with that. And I appreciate you talking about the mindset, because it's essential. It is. It's essential to being successful. So the next element of the So What Success system is about choices, calculating choices. You've already alluded to this in a number of ways. You've had to make a lot of tough choices and very deliberate choices to get to where you are today. Tell me about some of the choices that you had to make and to be successful.
Excuse me. Yeah, choices in terms of Just choosing to keep going every day. That's one of
That
the
is absolutely a choice.
Yeah, because some days, even now, with two jobs, I tell everybody I got two jobs.
Two big
And
jobs,
big
Stephanie.
jobs. And some days the task ahead of me just seems so enormous. And I'm thinking, what in the world am I going to do? How am I going to wrap my brain around all of the different things that I have to do, the people that I'm responsible to every day? And it's a choice that you just get out of the bed and you do something. Every day, I've become a list person. I did not start my professional career as a list person, but I am now, and I always keep a book with me, a book of lists, things that I need to get done. And, most days I am not scratching everything off of my list. Most days, I've probably still got 3 or 4 things, maybe even 5 on my list to do, complete, that I did not get done. But it does not scare me anymore because I know that if I take everything one day at a time, I'm going to get to where I want to go. If I were to, go back even further than that, just the choice to say, you know what, I need more support with my daughter. My daughter needs me. I need to be with her and that support system. And so while I love the University of Memphis and my Tiger family, I had to make the choice to come back home to Little Rock. And yeah, like I said a moment ago, I did not want to come back to Little Rock. This was not a part of my plan. It was something that was a distant plan Z, if you will. If you're making plan A, plan B, plan C. So
all the way.
it was plan Z. It was Z all the way. I was like, I could go back to Little Rock once I have, done X, Y, and Z, or once I've amassed this amount of money, and I can then I'll come back to Little Rock and see my mama sometime.
I get it.
So to come back much sooner was just definitely something that was not a part of my plans. However, it's one of the best decisions that I believe that I made, because I was able to marry my husband. I was able to be here with my mother through her illness and ultimate passing. Nia had a chance to grow up around her grandmother and loving on her grandmother, and her grandmother loving on her. These are all of the things that wouldn't have happened if I decided, you know what, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to bring Nia with me, and we're going to keep going, then we're going to go away. I think her set of experience, I believe that God would have kept us and protected us no matter where we are. Of course, they would have been different. I don't know that they would have been as rich as they have been, because she's been around her family. And I credit it all to God's timing and his plan. He knew what he wanted for my life, while I may have wanted a totally different set of circumstances. He knew what I needed, and he knew where I needed to be so that Nia could have what she needed.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes it's hard to accept those things. But you know what? I accepted it. I said, I got to put my big girl pants on, and we got to go back to Little Rock. This is what's best for my child. And so that was definitely one of the things when you talk about changing course, making these big major decisions. It was a decision for the better. And I look back on it and I go, well, God, you knew what you were doing, because here we are today. And thankfully I've been able to help Myron grow the company. And now I'm in a position that I'm working for the city of Little Rock's first popularly elected African-American mayor. These are so many things that I would not have had the opportunity to do likely if I had chosen to continue on that trek away from my hometown. So, God has a way of working things out that we just don't see at the time. We can trust him and know that keep going down the path that he set for us, even though it doesn't feel right at the time, even though you can't necessarily see where you're going, but having the faith to believe that he's going to work it out. And then also, again, stopping the pity party, stopping the excuses, and just get up and do it. Just decide you're gonna do it. Make up your mind that you're gonna do it.
Well, Stephanie, you're absolutely right. And it is funny how, those saying, you want to make God laugh.
Right. Make some
Tell
plans.
them your plans. Tell them your plans.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, that's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing.
And I can attest to it. And on the other side of those choices and those sacrifices, it is so many blessings. It's so many blessings. And again, it's always bigger than us. It's always bigger than us. And we, initially go into it probably a little selfishly, and this is not what I wanted. This is not what I was gonna do. But it ends up blessing so many other people. And Stephanie, that's definitely what you've done.
And let me just say this, to see my daughter cross the stage as a college graduate herself, it did something that, to me, it just showed, what, God's got you. You know what I mean? If you stick with him, if you follow his plan, and even his plan's not easy.
Right.
I mean, things are going to happen to you that are going to try to throw you off. I mean, that's of course what the enemy wants to do. And so if we can stick to his plan and follow him, it will just make all the world a difference. Because when I say, having Nia at 19 and then being able to see her graduate high school, and then knowing that she wanted to go to college, and then she stuck with it and she completed it in 4 years. It's amazing to me. It's amazing.
And she became our soror in the process.
Our soror in the process. Yeah.
It's beautiful, Stephanie. And as a mother and a young mother, that is something that we want for our children, and to see them be successful. Me, I was there right after Nia was born, so she's all of ours.
Yes, she is. Yes,
and so we're all super proud of her. But I know how you feel going back to that moment when you question your own life, your own ability to graduate from college. It's a testament. I want to tell you, Stephanie, you bless me. You inspire me, and really in these last maybe 10 years or so, I've really been watching you, and I just admire you in so many ways. And I admire your faith, because I see that if you wear it proudly, beautifully. I admire it, and I admire your professionalism and where you've gone with your career and what you've done. But I admire your heart, Stephanie. You have always been a huge supporter, and even in me and my journey and the things that I'm doing in my business, you have always been a big supporter. And you're that secret supporter. You're like, I don't need all this attention. I'm just gonna do what I do, and that's beautiful. And that is really, really beautiful. And I just want to thank you for that.
Yeah. Well, I love you, girl. You got my support.
I thank you, honey. Okay, so the So What Success System, when people learn how to overcome obstacles, eliminate excuses, and calculate choices, it is truly my belief that anybody can have so what success, no matter what challenges come in life, because they are gonna come. But no matter what they are, if you can do those 3 things, then you can achieve so what success. But Stephanie, how do you personally define success?
Oh gosh, that's a big question.
It is, I know.
In my definition, just like with anything, it's changing over time. At one point, success to me was, okay, I'm in the career I want to be in, and I'm making this amount of money, and I've got this type of a family, and but it's probably a little different now. Success is doing what my purpose is. That's success for me now. And that might not come with a lot of accolades. That might not come with, a whole lot of cash. Although I would love to say I'm going to always live comfortably in this world, it may not be. But if I can fulfill my purpose, that's the ultimate success.
I get it.
And I'm still trying to figure that out. How am I going to get this done? But that's definitely That's definitely my definition.
I love it. And you know what? And finding your purpose is a journey, and you know, and always figuring it out. And sometimes that changes, but I say the same thing, Stephanie. I was asked this question on Clubhouse. I was in a Clubhouse room talking about success.
You're gonna have to help me figure that out. Because I'm like, I don't know if I like Clubhouse.
You got to be strategic about it. We can talk about it.
We'll talk about that. Yeah.
I have some friends that are killing the game in Clubhouse, so I'll tell you about it.
I'm not going to hear about that. Yeah.
I ain't killing the game. I'm learning though. I'm doing some stuff in there.
Okay.
But we had a room and it was about success. And that was my answer. It was like the same thing you just said. Is like it changes. Mm-hmm. It definitely changes. And I remember specifically, it was, I need this type of career. I need my salary to be double my age. Up to a certain point, I was like, my salary has to be at least double my age. And then I got to the point where it exceeded double my age. I'm like, okay, I'm doing good. And then actually, honestly, after I wrote my book, I did find my purpose and I started doing this. Now, I'm like you, I want to live comfortably, and I'm thankful that I do. But most importantly, it's just like you said, I want to live and walk in my purpose every single day. And I want to give benefit to the world,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, you're doing that. I see you. I see you, and just the fact that you can touch so many young people's lives and make a difference in their lives, Summer, that's a work that too few people do. And when you do it, when you do have people that do it and love to do it, and that is their purpose, you can see it and it just radiates off of them, and it makes all of the difference.
I appreciate that. And like you said too, it all comes full circle. So a lot of it has come from my journey and struggle as a child, and my journey and struggle as a mother. So it's God brings us all together, which say all things work together, right? And I'm grateful. Here's my last question for you, Stephanie. Okay. What advice, and I know you're full of advice, but give us one thing, one piece of advice that you would give to someone who wants to be successful, however they define success. This could be a young person like Nia. It could be somebody well into their careers like us, but they're running into challenges. They're facing obstacles. What's one general piece of advice you would give?
One piece of advice?
I know that's tough, but I know it's tough. They have to reach out and get more advice. Let's give them one.
Okay. This is the ultimate then. It's one word: pray. They need to pray. They need to seek God, seek Him for direction. So that's short and sweet. It's nothing fancy about it, but it works. And so, that would be the one thing if I had to tell somebody one thing. Yeah, seek God's direction for your life.
I love it. And even those of
your heart.
I'm sorry, I was talking, I cut you out. I think that deserves being repeated. Say it again.
Will give you the desires of your heart.
I love it. And I love you, Stephanie. Thank you.
I love you too.